Hi. Hi, I'm Rob,
Hey, and I'm Carey.
and welcome to Two Gay Guys from the South talking about Jesus.
How's everybody doing this evening?
And tonight is the night before Election Day 2020. And the other day, Carey said that we should do an episode on this, on voting. And
He's just blaming it on me. He really he's really the one that's got something.
we both got fired up talking about it, actually. We really did. But yeah, we need to do this. But I guess the title would be, how would Jesus vote? And of course, the answer to that would be he wouldn't, because he's not an American. He didn't vote in Palestine 2,000 years ago. He's not a Republican or a Democrat. He's not even a U.S. citizen. Voting something that we do, not something that Jesus does. And it
has its part. I mean, it's an important part of our country. It's a patriotic duty. I think we all ought to get out and vote. And, if it comes to shaking things up, let it lay where it lies. So, yeah.
But here in the South, especially, there's a lot of mixing of religion and politics, and there's some churches that have Christian voter guides, where if you're a Christian, this is where the candidates stand, and from the pulpit they tell you what God's will is, and you sort of look and you.
And all of this is going on from the platform.
Yeah. And it's just sort of a mess, actually. It's not that Jesus was really involved.
It's really turned out to be that.
Yeah, in politics, he really wasn't. Now, things he did was political, and they had to do with the way humans interact with each other. But he wasn't on the side of one political party or another. And there are people that you've had experiences when you've changed your political views.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. I mean, up until a couple of years ago, I still voted all my life. Since I had the opportunity of voting, I voted Republican Party. But that was then. This is now. I'm voting the candidate and what I think that will do the best job for the country and for all of us. And it's a different day.
Yeah. I know there are a lot of people who think, well, you can't be a good Christian and vote Democrat. And when I was Mormon, Latter-day LDS Church, there were those back in the day who said, a good Latter-day Saint cannot be a liberal Democrat, which is just ridiculous. I mean, this country was founded on not having a litmus test for religion to vote and have a political voice. Everybody could have a voice.
I think the way it is now, we've got a lot of tenuous thought out there because we do have a lot of government that looks after particular sects of people. And what about the less fortunate? How about the diversity? How about the one that they're always picking at? Those of color, of race, of orientation. And I think that this thing with the church and the evangelicals, there's no separation of church and state. And, the political party, and it begins with 5 letters, and the stirs at the end, it's kind of indicative of bullying, of giving the evangelicals an excuse to act and do what they want. And, the lesson and the law, if we want to go back to the law of creation and the law of a creator, we're to love. And that's why that was on the basis and the premise that the whole world was created. It was from nothing, and it was love all the way. And it's always been love. Think about when in Jesus's day, It wasn't the scribes and the Pharisees that voted for him to go to the cross. He went to the cross because he loved us. And that love, if we're doing the right thing, as far as God's law, his law is love. And we would be a reflection of that love to our brothers and sisters. And we would say, screw it to all of this diversity, all of this reckless name calling, all of this abuse and bullying. Yeah, there's good people on both sides. I'm not saying that at all. There is. And there are good
Political
people.
party sides.
Political party sides.
Not the Nazi gathering in
in Charlottesville and other places.
No,
where they got permission to run through the crowd. Look, they're taking our spirit. It's taking our spirit away from me and you. I mean, those of you that have been a little more than outspoken on social media, I've been there. I've befriended some folks because of that mentality and that attitude. I've been asked, Carey, you've been in Virginia. We've known you for 30 years. Where's your heart? Where's your heart?
And all because of his political
political
view that he's expressing. It's different than what it used to be. And so it's like, where's your heart?
I've even been told
you jump political parties
to shut up.
Yeah.
They don't like what I'm saying. And you know me, folks, I'm all about love, to be loved. It's not transactional. Love is universal. And it doesn't matter whether you're in Timbuktu or bumfuck Egypt. God is love.
Yep. And, and it really, instead of asking how would Jesus vote? Maybe we should say, asking, what are my values? What are the things that I really care about? The people that I care about, what would be best for everyone in this country? Let's vote along those lines. This nation was founded by men who were philosophers and who understood that human nature was fallible, and yet that reason had a really important place, and that they were trying to create a utopian government that honored human nature, that honored people as they are now, as we really exist, and to create institutions and laws to protect the rights of human beings, human rights, not the right of this sector, that sector, this group or that race, or this, had a bigger vision. They failed. They fell short of it. But the institutions are still there. And we get to play a part in that tomorrow by voting. And the mixing of the ease with which so many Americans combine politics and Jesus and church and state,
it was all originally
it's so contrary.
The most simple and easy task was the law of this country was the law of the people, by the people, for the people. Yeah. Not to say that the founding fathers were overly religious.
They were.
But they were fair. They were fair.
Yeah.
And being from Virginia, I'm very, very proud.
Yeah, because Virginia was the first state to have the statute for religious freedom.
Our freedom was born here.
Yeah, that predates the First Amendment. It predates the Constitutional Convention. But Thomas Jefferson wrote the statute for religious freedom, and James Madison fought politically for 10 years to get it passed into law. And it's basically, Virginia was the first state that did not have either a state church or did not have a religious belief requirement to hold office or vote. Even in Pennsylvania, which was very liberal and it was a haven for those fleeing religious persecution, to hold office, you had to be a monotheist. You had to believe in one God. In Virginia, there was no mention of religion in the state constitution, and actually it was prohibited to mix the two.
This guy here, he's a geek for a lot of things, and politics is another.
And religious history and American history. And I've actually was commissioned to write a play years ago about this very thing, the separation of church and state.
Hear ye him.
But yeah, but the ease at which modern days we've forgotten it, and we think that actually there was a time when this was a Christian nation. It never was. I mean, George Washington declared that in one of the first conflicts that the U.S. had in the 1890s, in the 1790s. But the ease, we were sort of wondering how to approach this, and then about 2 hours ago, got a little dance around us.
Little birdie fell,
yeah.
into our
and we got
our nest.
We got a mass email from a member of the church where we both work. This member had received it from another member who shared it with just a few friends who this member knew were politically in his camp. And this person then mass emailed it to almost everybody in the church, including those who do not share their religious beliefs. Right. And the email contained an attachment, a Trump campaign video that supposedly Facebook had kicked President Trump off of Facebook, his ads off. Well, in actuality, Facebook announced a policy back in September saying that the week going into the election, they would not be accepting any more new political videos or campaign material from either party, from any candidate.
Oh, and they didn't misunderstand a thing.
Yeah. And but this person is putting this out there as though Facebook has banned President Trump. And then the email says, I apologize for forwarding this email. I was actually venting by typing up how I feel, and I was getting ready to edit it. However, I was holding the phone to make a call, and it rang. I dropped the phone, but hit the send button by mistake. I do feel, however, that Facebook should not be blocking this ad. And I'm happy to report that I now have nothing to do with Facebook. Okay.
Now, you Southern Belles out there, you know that.
You cannot be editing an email, drop your phone, accidentally mass send that email along with apology for accidentally mass sending it.
You can drop it in the toilet, but you can't.
But I wrote back to this person and said, I think I said, this is a lamely conceived fiction, to put it graciously. Right. And I really ungraciously even say this is the dumbass lie to cover the fact that you're trying to send this video out to everybody in church. But the fact that you want to send out a political
video.
Whoever
put all this in motion didn't even read the bottom line or the small print at the end.
It just bespeaks of how easily too many Americans want to mix religion and politics. And they think that if they go to a particular church, that everybody there shares their political views. And political views are totally different, should be different, from theological convictions and religious beliefs. However, dangerously, I think, for too many Americans, that's not the case. And so the best thing any of us can do, actually, to battle this is to go and vote your values. And by values, I don't mean your religious values, although they can certainly inform your values, but what you believe about the type of country you want to live in and the rights of everyone in that country. That's what we're called upon. That's what the government's here to defend, the rights of everyone.
Right.
And that's what we should be voting, I think, to empower the government to do that. Yep. And not just a select group of people or this particular majority or this group or that faith or some other faith. So what do you think? They should vote tomorrow. They should vote.
They should vote their conscience. Yeah. It's absolutely.
Yeah. So go out, vote.
We're not going to pretend to tell you who to vote for.
That's your choice. That's your right.
That is your right. That's your patriotic duty. And our love and blessings on you and your families. And God bless us, everyone.
Vote. I'm Rob.
And I'm Carey.
And we're two gay guys talking about
Jesus. Night.
Good night.
I think that was really good.
Me too.